There's a victim impact statement here that bothers me, to be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
It really troubles me. And I just have to read it in paragraph 6. I assume the victims in this case are white.
Yes.
All right. It troubles me greatly that this statement says, this incident has had the most impact on my daughter. She's in constant fear of black men. When out running errands, if we come across a black male, she holds me tight and begs me to leave. It has affected her relationships at school and relationship with our African American friends. Really? You don't have to answer for it, but I want to make that part of the record. I'm offended by that. I'm deeply offended by that. That they would be victimized by an individual and then express some kind of fear of all black men. I wonder if the perpetrator had been white, would they be in fear of white men? The answer would probably be no. I'm offended by that. It's not going to affect what happens here, but I want to make it part of the record, and perhaps you pass this on. I find this very offensive.
And certainly I understand the court's outrage there. Well, I mean, I guess I really don't, but...
Well, you understand.
I understand where you're coming from, Your Honor.
I understand exactly where I'm coming from.
Here's why we object to probation, Judge. But what we're really talking about here is that probation would unduly depreciate the seriousness of what happened. This was a home invasion. The victims were a husband, a wife, and a 3-year-old little girl. And
make no mistake about it, I voiced some outrage about a statement, a portion of that statement. But I'm also outraged that anyone would go into anyone else's home and commit a violent offense like this. That's outrageous also. This little girl has certainly been victimized, and she can't help the way that she feels. My exception is more with her parents, and they're accepting of that kind of mentality and that fostering of that, those kind of stereotypes. But I'm going to grant your motion today for probation. I know the combo's position. And in here, most times, I can't say for sure. I got to look at everything. But you commit an offense like this with a handgun, I'm going to send you to prison more times than not. I think the equities weigh in favor of you having an opportunity to redeem yourself.
I got my red jacket back there with the cardinal on it, so you know I represent it. But in all seriousness, you know, here's where we are right now in this country. We need strong black men. We got a lot out here, but we need more of them, and we need the strong ones to stand up and to speak. Now, what I'm going to tell you is the reason that I felt like I had to get on a flight and come down today, I bought my ticket this morning, is because when I saw what this brother was doing in Louisville, I said, this is actually something that isn't happening anywhere else in the country.
Right.
All white juries are a virus in our judicial system.
Yes, sir.
We are being sent away to the prisons the way the Jews were being sent away to concentration camps.
New Jim Crow.
And there you go. These are Jim Crow juries. I mean, imagine a group of Nazis just sending Jews to prison in packs. I mean, really, you look at the system for black men in America, especially, you see the spiked up prison rates right here in Louisville, it's all over the country. What happens? You get stopped and frisked by a white police officer who says, boy, what are you doing on this side of town? What are you doing out here in the East End? You're supposed to be down there. Right? So you get stopped and frisked, which increases the chances of you being beaten or arrested that night. And then you go to the courthouse where you're being processed by people who are not black. You're being defended. You get a public defender who's not black. You got a prosecutor who's not black, a jury that's all white, a judge that's all white, and then a bunch of prison guards that are white. And this is a plan. This is not an accident. This was by design. And what connects me to this is not just the fact that I grew up in these same streets. I mean, you know, I'm a Louisville guy like anybody in here. It's the fact that when I was a little boy, I had a older brother. His name was Donald Couch, and he wasn't really my older brother. He was actually an uncle, but he was like an older brother to me. He was about 8 years older than me. And I can't hardly tell this story without crying, so I'm going to apologize in advance. But I still remember, I remember when I cried that night when he got arrested when I was 11, and he was about 18. He got in a fight with a white kid, and they charged him with assault. And of course they charged him, as an adult. I don't even think he was 18 yet, he was 17. And he went down to these same halls of justice where Judge Stevens works today. And they sent him to prison at 17 because, of course, black lives did not matter back then. They really still don't. Still don't. And I don't know what happened to him when he went to prison, but I know that when he came back, he wasn't the same person. And we know about the torture that occurs in prison. We know about the rapes and the murders and the beatings and the psychological damage that occurs from mass incarceration. And this is being brought back to our families and to our communities by these juries that don't represent the people that we know and that we care about. They don't represent us. So what's interesting to me is that what Judge Stevens brought up is not illogical, it's not crazy, it's not radical, it's simple logic. But we have a system that is so infected with the disease of white supremacy and racism that they want to punish a judge for actually trying to deliver justice.
That's right.
A man who simply, he's not asking for preferential treatment, he's simply asking for equality.
Yes.
And y'all want to beat him like a runaway slave, well that ain't going to happen. Because guess what? These are our families, our children that are going down to those halls of justice.
Yes.
So you will not marginalize him, you will not destroy him, you will not tear him down.
That's right.
In fact, guess what? He's going to come back stronger, and maybe at some point he will take the job of Tom Wine. So this is real simple. Real simple. The bottom line is that we know Jim Crow juries are wrong. Every American deserves a right to fair justice. We're still a long way from equity. But this is a good start. And I want to say this, that when you see a brother like an Olu Stevens, who's been accepted into the establishment, he's making good money. He could be focused on keeping the bins in the driveway. That's right. He's not doing that. He's putting that on the line. So when you see that happen, do not let them be persecuted alone.
That's right.
Bullies operate best in the dark and when they isolate you.
That's right.
So that's why I wasn't doing anybody a favor by coming down and helping out. This is what we're all supposed to do.
That's right.
So let's end this plantation mentality. We're going to fight back. That's all I'm going to say.
No justice, no peace.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.